Our interview this morning is with Cathy Cousins. Cathy was born in Oakland, California in June of 1951. She served in the United States Army, the WAACS, WAACS, from October of 1971 until August of 1972. Her highest rank attained was Spec 4, that's an E4. Today is Thursday, November the 21st, 2013. This interview is conducted at Burleson, Texas. My name is Dale Dexheimer. Also in the room is Milton Gibson, our videographer. Neither of us are related to Cathy in any way. This interview is conducted for the Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress and also for Operation Remember in Burleson, Texas. And with that introduction, Cathy, you can tell us about your time in the Army.
All right. I was living at home, kind of rebellious, and was given a choice to leave the home in 30 days, and I didn't know where to go, and I thought I was a little bit too rebellious to go anywhere, but I went into the service, and it suited me. When I had to lose some weight, of course, most women did, and it wasn't called Army then, it was the Women's Auxiliary Army Corps, so the rules were a little bit different when I was in. I went to Advanced Individual Training, or AIT, in Fort McClellan, Alabama, which was very far from California, different, very different. But I didn't realize that it would suit me, the boundaries and the structure, my favorite thing, the drilling. I loved the drill. I did a lot of that in high school, so this definitely suited me. I loved the drill. Also, I liked the pomp and circumstance, I guess, of the military. I got a whole totally different respect for my country, the flag especially. I have a real respect for the American flag, and I was going to go into officers training and changed my mind when I got in there. My biggest thing, I wanted to be on the honor guard, and I was picked for the honor guard, which I was very happy for that. I still love to fold the flag, fold it properly. Anyway, I went from AIT to, from basic training. I don't know why I thought that. Basic training, I went to my AIT in Fort Dix, New Jersey. And I took military secretary for the hospital. And I didn't like it. It was just too confining for me working in a orderly room of a medical company. It just wasn't me. I did it. I don't even know how long I did it until I found out that I could be a child therapist, because I did a lot of it in college. I did enough psychology classes in college that I got to do that. That suited me. That suited me more than being in a small environment. It got pretty tough. Some of the kids, because of whatever, were very stressed out from the military and from the the confines of the military and military families. It was very difficult, and yet they were teenagers. They were just a little bit different than regular teenagers, you know, or non-military teenagers. They just were a little bit different, probably the confines again. Then there was an opening for a swimming instructor, which is what I did in the civilian world, and I went for that. I was the first woman swimming instructor in the Army, still Women's Auxiliary Army Corps, and I loved it. That definitely suited me. I was going to college to be a teacher, and so this definitely suited me. As far as in the barracks, I don't know why I liked it so much. I liked the quarter that you had to drop on the bed and it had to bounce off. I liked the everything being smooth. I liked the socks being folded till it smiled, you know, all of that, and fitting it in small spaces, which helps me a lot. Actually, today, I liked it, which was funny because that's what I was trying to get away from. But in there, I really liked it. It just suited me. Where I guess it's because I made the choice to do that. I made the choice to either get the demerits or not. Living in a barracks with a bunch of women, it didn't really bother me that much, because I got out a lot. I went outside of the barracks a lot, and I met this gentleman that was dating my best friend in the military. Her name was Margie Delgado. I have lost track of her. She was amazing. I met this gentleman, and he was just the sweetest person I ever met in my lifetime. And when my friend didn't date him anymore, I snatched him up and got married in 1972. And at the time, if you were married or pregnant or both, you were requested to get out with an honorable discharge. But this gentleman, it was so funny. I knew a lot of people because you just kind of hung out together and you learned more about your area. But he was something. He bought me peaches, which I hadn't had fresh peaches, which seems so ridiculous, something so small to be so huge. And bought my friend a kite, and this is got my kite caught in a tree. This seems so silly to anyone else, but to me it was just huge, just huge. And he was there only because Nixon extended the tour of those that were getting out 90 days because of the Pueblo incident. And during that 90 days, we met, got married, and then he got out, and I had to come back to the barracks, which is kind of unusual. And then I got out, and of course that's short. There's a couple of things that were kind of interesting, at least to me, and I wore this bracelet. They sold these bracelets when I was in the service. They were the POW MIA bracelets, and the one I bought is the date, his captivity date, is January 18th of 1968. My daughter was born in January 18th, several years after that, which is kind of cool. I've wanted my whole life to give that to him, and I know he's alive because I checked the wall. I didn't pursue it, I guess, but military for women at the time was pretty unusual. Those of us that were there kind of hung together, kind of played together, but when I met that one, and that's certainly not what I went in there for. I went in there for safety, and I wasn't your typical military. I don't know why I liked it so much, because I was a rebel before that. It was just something about our country, I guess. Our country was in such a state of upheaval civilly, upheaval music was in, everything seemed to be in such an upheaval that I found such comfort in knowing what I had to do, where I had to go, what I had to wear. You know, it just seemed really comfort. It gave me comfort, and since then I'm definitely into veterans. You know, I've veterans groups, veterans, just they've stolen my heart. And the flag has way stolen my heart. My father was in the service. He was in the Navy. And when he passed on, I got his flag, which goes with us everywhere we go. And if I were to say that there's one thing that I'm proud of, well, maybe two. I was the best drill. I loved that, and I was the best at it in our group. And I think I was in Charlie Company, but beyond that, don't know. Sorry. I wish I did, but I know that I was in Charlie Company somewhere. I guess the sense of security that I found there, even as rebellious as I was, suited me. And it still kind of suits me. I'm still rebellious, but I love my country, and I love my flag. And that's me in a nutshell.
Very good. I think Milton would agree that we've done lots of these, but that's certainly a different story than anything we've heard in the 3.5 years we've been doing these. You got a great story, Cathy. You really do. Let me go back and ask you some questions here. You started, the thing that got me right away was you're kind of rebellious. I guess I've been fortunate. My kids have been pretty good. What is kind of rebellious? What Mom and Dad do? They were from California, I guess?
Yes, my dad ran the service department at a major car company. He ran the service department. I don't even have any idea which one it was.
You went to high school in California, and you were going to college?
Yes, I started.
And this is where you got this kind of rebellious thing. What does you would have been, I guess, in your early 20s?
Yes.
What does a California girl going to college, kind of rebellious, what does she do that makes her kind of rebellious?
Well, I wore a black band for that was for those that were missing and dead in Vietnam. My friends didn't. I kind of rebellious. Well, back then the colleges were in a state of total unrest. People were fighting the military, fighting the government, fighting that the military was in a conflict. I, of course, didn't call it a conflict. Vietnam War was not acceptable to people at all. And I was a secretary of the college, and I typed up letters and things for not an anti-government, but anti-war.
War.
And I'm still anti-war. Don't get me wrong. I'm still rebellious to a point, but at that point it wasn't it was mostly the colleges and the college kids that were doing sit-down strikes. And I was at my college, which was Ohlone College in California. My dad was an ex-policeman. So when I say I'm kind of rebellious, that day the whole college wanted to storm the administration building. Those of us, not the whole college, those of us that were fighting the government, fighting the war and doing the sit-down strikes, when they said, I think that let's all storm the administration building so we can make a point. And I'm like, oh, I'm out. So I'm rebellious to that point. I didn't want to get put in jail for anything, so my rebelliousness stops when it becomes illegal.
By today's standards, maybe you were not all that rebellious, but Mom and Dad were very conservative, and you went on this different path. You marched in demonstrations?
I did.
You put out literature for demonstrations and for people, anti-war literature?
I did.
Okay.
My parents thought I was a communist. I wasn't. I love my country. I don't like war because everyone loses in a war.
You have brothers and sisters, Cathy?
I do. I have two older sisters, a younger brother, and a younger sister.
Did they partake in any of this rebellious?
No.
No. So you were the lone child out there. You were the thumb that Dad hit with a hammer.
Yes. My mom called me the square peg.
Okay.
And she still calls me a square peg. And I said, or a sore thumb, like you would call it, a sore thumb. And I told my mother, even a few years ago, Mom, I'm a sore thumb. I'm going to continue to be a sore thumb when it comes to war. I am very, very, very loyal to my country, very anti-war. And the Vietnam War specifically, because I lived it and I didn't support our young being wiped off the face of the earth. That's the way I looked at it. I even went as far to say it was legal genocide, and that wasn't acceptable, but it was acceptable to me to say that that's how I felt. That's the way I still feel. It took a chunk of our future and changed it. And war does that.
With these thoughts, Cathy, Mom and Dad give you an ultimatum. You get 30 days and you're out of here.
Right.
So you go see the recruiter, the Army recruiter. Did you talk to any other recruiters, or did you just go to the Army?
No, I don't know why I chose the Army. I don't know why I did. I went there, and they took me right directly in to test. I passed the tests, and
Was there any
was it.
conversation on your anti-war feelings?
no,
That didn't come up at all?
no.
Okay.
They must have had a quota. I don't know.
It
They just never.
It seems a little strange that you're anti-war and then you're joining the U.S. military.
I know.
That
It didn't make sense at all.
I would have thought there would have been something in there that the recruiter would have said, I don't know about this girl. But evidently it never came up. You passed whatever tests they gave and you were inducted. You were accepted by the Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I had to lose some weight. You know, women have a weight restriction. I guess I don't know if they still do, but it was very tight, the weight restrictions for the women. I don't know that much about the men at the time because we were completely separated.
Mm-hmm. You went to Fort
Fort McClellan,
Alabama,
right.
for basic. How long was your basic? Do you remember, Cathy?
I believe it was either 6 or 10 weeks. It was close to that.
Okay. Had you ever been away from home before?
No, not like that, no, never.
How'd they send you from California to Alabama? They fly you over there or put you on a train, you remember?
They bused us to, oh, I remember now. Yes, they bused us to Oakland and then flew us by helicopter to San Francisco and then
Travis.
flew us, right, and then flew us to Fort McClellan and then put us on another bus to the base, which was out in the middle of nowhere. At least it was then. It surprised me that with my anti-war that I did that, but you know.
Did you find, when you got to basic, how many folks in your company or whatever the unit was, did you have?
I believe that we had 30 women
Okay.
in my area, and then they had different units. So
Okay.
there was a lot of women.
Do you find anyone else that had those same anti-war feelings that you had?
Well, I didn't
Never brought it up.
bring it up. I didn't bring it up because by that time, I still am anti-war, but I did what had to be done.
Okay.
You know, they had rules. I followed the rules as much as I could.
When you got to basic, you said that you loved drill. This is some of these things are just so different. Your first few days in basic, I guess they got you up at 6 a.m.?
Early. Hmm.
Early.
Yes.
It was still dark outside.
It was dark.
In the barracks, wherever you lived, did you have an open bay with just lots of folks, or were you in individual rooms or two or three girls?
No, we were a complete open bay.
Open bay?
Open bay, and then they had the lockers. They set up the lockers with head toe, head toe.
Okay.
So you would have 4 across with the walkway in between. and then several of them. So the ones you really only saw were the 4 in your line.
So they get you up. It's still dark outside. I guess you get up with reveille.
Oh,
The trumpeter, the bugle, and all
oh
that.
yeah, we were up and fed by then.
Okay, that's where I'm going. I'm going to the fed part.
Okay.
How long did you have to get ready? And then I guess they marched you down to a mess hall?
Yes.
Okay,
How long? I don't know. I was always the first one ready.
okay.
You know, it just suited me so well that I just acclimated.
You picked up the marching and the close order drill and all that readily.
Yes.
Did that make you a standout? Did most of those folks have 2 left feet, or did they all pick it up pretty quickly?
No, they actually had different tests that they made you stand out. They had the best, the person who did their area the best, the person who did the schooling the best, the person who did drilling the best, just something to test until you were the last one standing. And I wasn't the last one standing until you came to drill, because not only was I good at it, I did it in high school.
Were you in the band in high school, or were you a drum major, or
No,
some?
I was in a Masonic order called Job's Daughters,
Oh, okay.
and they had a competition drill, and I loved it, and I just slid right on in there in the military, and I loved it then, and I love it now. I just love drill. I don't even have a reason except that it just is. It's beautiful. I like the different formations, and I like to go from one to the other, knowing your spot. One particular day, we had a competition in the military to see who would be the last one standing. Well, I was pretty sure it would be me, you know, and because I zoned right into what they were saying, and I knew where I was in space and time, because I was taught that, and I was the last one standing, and I got special award for that, and I got to be in the honor guard for that.
So if we went out here in the parking lot right now and did a little forward march, about face, left face, right face, yada yada, all that stuff, you would be right out there right now.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
At least I think I would.
Okay.
I have no doubt that I would be right there, even though it's been a long time. It's just something I like.
Honor guard.
Yeah.
It's something you wanted to do. You achieved that goal. How many folks in honor guard?
We had 8 in the honor guard. 8 that, if I'm not mistaken, that got to put the flag up in the morning, take it down at night, and then fold it. And I just was, it was it for me.
Had you ever been in Girl Scouts or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I was in a Girl Scout and Campfire Girls and a leader and all of that. I've always been a leader, but there's just something about that.
Did you learn the proper flag etiquette in one of those outfits, or was it just in the Army where they taught you the proper way?
Army, they taught me the exact way to do it, and that's all I wanted.
Okay, let's go back to your basic.
Okay.
Get you up in the morning, you go down to mess hall. Uh, it's a good question for men. I don't know about for women, but what did you think about what they fed you?
I didn't think that the food was. It was. I mean, if you're hungry, you ate it. If you weren't hungry, you didn't. It was. It was okay. It was very difficult to maintain your weight as a
Starch.
woman. A lot of starch. So you either had to cut back and be hungry. They didn't have a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables and a lot of salad to make it easy to maintain your weight. So consequently, I was a few pounds overweight, but when they told me I would have to lose the weight to do honor guard, oh, okay, done. When I was done, it of course came back on, even though we never had the PT running and stuff requirements that they have now. We didn't do guns, we didn't do a lot of the requirements that they have now of the women once the Women's Army Corps was combined and just made one army.
Get you up in the morning, march you down to mess hall, you have breakfast. Okay, what do we do after breakfast?
PT,
Okay.
school,
School being,
teaching us about the rank, teaching us about the military, teaching us who was who, teaching us the whole line, from private clear up through the president, that whole thing, that whole entire line, how it worked, how the different branches of the military interacted, what was required of us, etiquette.
Etiquette taught you how to salute.
Absolutely, which of course I think I still know how to do. Of course I don't have a hat on. How to wear our uniform properly, how to clean our uniform properly, what was, how to shine our shoes so that they were mirrors, which I liked. All of that.
One of the things that bugs me today, I see an awful lot of guys with patent leather shoes, and I am anti patent leather. I'm sorry that you gotta spit shine your own.
Don't look at him. My husband doesn't wear that. I don't wear them either. We did the
right.
whole little. You take your black polish and the white. You put in the water, and the cotton balls, where you do the cotton balls, and the more you shine. Some of the people heated them up. I didn't do that. I just worked it and worked it and worked it until they were
Mirrors. Okay.
And then the brass with the I can't even think of her name now, that was on our the brass, round brass. Oh, those had to be worked too.
Brasso.
Oh yeah, of course, brasso.
Okay. You do your 6 or 8, 10 weeks, whatever it is in basic. You get out as an E3?
I got out as, yes, I did, actually. It took me a while. It took me a while to get it because I was a few pounds overweight, and so I didn't get it as fast as the other
That weight
girls.
was a big thing, wasn't it?
Huge.
Yeah.
It was huge.
When you were in basic, I suspect the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you didn't get off the base.
No.
Weekends, etc. But somewhere along the line, they gave you some time off. You could go to town, I suspect. After 4 weeks or something like that, did they give you?
I never went off the base because everything that I wanted was in walking distance. Everything that I needed everything that was entertaining was on base. I
Okay.
didn't have any reason at that base to go anywhere.
Okay. So after you finish basic, you go up to Fort Dix in New Jersey. And that was for advanced
Individual training,
individual training.
right? AIT.
And you selected a field, a specialty that you wanted to be involved in?
Well, they tested us and told us where our strengths were, and actually they told me my strength was to be a communicator with the little dashes and dot communicator, and then I thought, no, if I do that, then I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to be in a little room, and being in a little room didn't really suit me that well. So I did the medical company secretary. I thought I would do well at that.
But as it turned out, you didn't like that job at all.
No, I did it. I worked in a medical company orderly room, but I didn't become a secretary. I was just a clerk. My attention to detail isn't, and still isn't, as good as what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. My attention to detail goes outside of paper.
Yes, okay, I guess that's a good way to put it, because I have difficulty with someone who is good at close order drill. You do pay attention to detail in your uniform. The shoes are mirror-like.
Oh yeah.
The brass is all shiny. Do women have a gig line? The buttons?
Heck yeah.
Yes?
We had
Okay,
that.
so-
We had the skirt that had to sit up, that didn't have any wrinkles. We had our PTs that were blue, which I didn't understand, but we had our we had to wear the green dress uniform all day long, except during PT. And yeah, I liked all of that. I didn't get gigged for my uniform.
You liked all of that detail,
I did.
but the attention to detail as a clerk.
Somehow
that just didn't fit in.
it didn't
Okay.
work. Putting me in a small area. I liked the people that I worked with. It just didn't. I don't know why it didn't work. It just didn't work.
You mentioned working with kids, child psychologist. How'd you get involved in that?
I went to find out about it because I've always worked well with kids and still work with kids, and thought that maybe I could fit there. Maybe I would make a difference.
These were all dependents.
Yes, they were all
Kids that lived
dependent.
pretty much. They lived on base.
No, on and off
Right
base.
off, okay.
And they allowed me a little bit more of my personality to come through.
You work with these kids one-on-one, Cathy?
Yes, I did. I worked with the kids one-on-one, and I brought the parents in to work with me and with the kids to let them know what I saw. I did testing with the small kids, and that's what I did. And they allowed me my own office to decorate it any way I wanted. And I was pretty far out there, but it was all red, white, and blue flag. It was a little bright.
What took you from the working with the kids to the swimming instructor?
Well, the kids just, they were so sad, and it was just a little bit too sad for me.
So
being
you
in the.
requested,
I
you
requested.
initiated that change?
Yes, I did. I didn't know that I went to the pool, and I had been doing that anyway, teaching swimming. Was a water safety instructor anyway as when I was in high school. So when I saw the gentleman that ran the pool, and that they needed help for an instructor, and I was already an instructor, I had to redo it for the military, but that was it. That was the fit. That was my fit.
You're an E4 swimming instructor. Who are you instructing?
I'm instructing the dependents, the little kids.
Okay.
The little kids from the little kids. I had the beginners.
So you were not working with Green Beret kind of people,
No,
teaching them survival, etc.
No.
You were a support group.
Special
for
services.
Special
That's what they
services,
called us.
okay.
Special services. And there it suited me. I found my spot. I didn't wear a uniform. I wasn't inspected normally because special services were their own group. Even though I always loved having my uniform ready, I just never wore them anymore. It just was a spot that suited me with the little kids.
You live on base?
I lived in the barracks.
In the barracks, okay.
I did.
Okay. Now, you didn't go downtown when you were at McClellan, but at Fort Dix, did you ever venture out into the Jersey countryside to see what?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I went to Wrightstown. Was a big happening
Okay.
area. It wasn't. Well, I was just being facetious, but I found myself a place that I liked and went in. They liked me. I liked them. It was a diner. It looked like a diner. I don't know what it looks. It looked like a cable car diner, and I worked there on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
And I liked it there, so it just kind of brought me a couple extra bucks, and I once again liked it.
Is that where you met this sweetest man?
I met the sweetest man at the pool when I was
Okay.
lifeguarding, because I taught in the morning, and then I was the lifeguard in the afternoon. I did an 8-hour day at the pool. You know, we taught swimming.
This was an indoor pool, I guess, right?
No, outdoor.
Oh, was it?
Outdoor
Okay.
pool.
So you must have been at Dick's in the summer.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And the sweetest man was just splashing around there in the pool?
He doesn't swim very well at all.
Okay.
That was a drawback. The fact that he couldn't swim was like, how am I going to be around a person that doesn't swim? You know, he looks like a frog on land. But my friend was there with him, and he was just the nicest man. He had everything that I thought was important, except for swimming. Everything that I thought was important in a person, and that was it. Once she didn't date him anymore, the way that we met was unusual. Of course, the Pueblo incident was one of the reasons why we met. But I was coming back. Me and my friends used to go camping on our days off when I wasn't working downtown. And he worked at the, oh my gosh, now I'm going to forget, the dependents, where the dependents gathered and played and danced and things. He was in special services also. And I was coming back from, I don't even know what I was coming back from, but I saw him out of the corner of my eye because he was in a car, and he pulled in the parking lot, and I thought, I think he's looking at me. And he was. And so he pulled over and asked if I wanted to be a chaperone at a teen dance. And I thought, heck yeah, if you're there. And so I talked to my friend that evening, and she was already done dating him. I thought, cool. And so I went to the teen dance, and he put me back in the back where you sell the snacks. And this little girl that had a horrible crush on him was up front selling the tickets. So when he got up to do something, then I went up front and I said, oh, you want to work to the little girl. I was very intimidating, I guess. You want to work back in the snack bar. She says, no, I don't. I want to work with Don. I said, no, you don't. You want to work in the snack bar. Here, go back in the snack bar. And when he came back, I was there, and we've been together ever since. Yeah, I know.
Let me move on here. The bracelet that you wear, Cathy.
Yes.
That's an individual POW.
Yes.
It has his name?
It does. I didn't really want an officer. No disrespect
No, that's fine.
intended. I wanted a enlisted man, but he's a captain. His name is Robert Hinckley, which is kind of funny. But I bought it when I was in the service all those years ago.
And it has the date that he was captured?
Yes, he was captured in January 18th of 1968.
Does it have a release date? No.
No. See, the thing was...
You've never met that gentleman?
Nope. I tried for a while. I went to the VA back home in Pennsylvania to see if they couldn't find him, and we went to the wall, and I looked up his name, so he wasn't on the wall. So then I thought, okay, he's around somewhere. And at the time, people were finding their POWs and MIAs, and I dropped the ball. I couldn't find him. I'd love to find him, but I wear it for special occasions. I wear it for Veterans Day. I wear it some days.
Do you ever Google the name?
No, they didn't have Google, and I just have dropped the ball from then. So.
Well.
Now that you said that, of course, I'm going to go home this evening and Google it and see if I can't find him. If he should be still, he could be still alive, because he would just be maybe 10, maybe 20 years older than me.
Well, good. I think it's certainly a different story than we've heard. We talked to folks who went through the Battle of the Bulge and lots of other things. Yours is certainly a different story, a very interesting story. So we appreciate you coming down and sharing your story with us, Cathy. Appreciate your time in the military. And I think we're about done.
Well, thank you. I'm very proud of the fact that I went in, even though I didn't go in for the same reasons as other people. I'm a very proud veteran, and
I think most veterans are.
I'm still attached to my flag.
Good.
So
thank you.
Thank you.
I had a